I come from a family where most of the people were in businesses, and I decided to study physics in India, and I did. That was in late 70s, early 80s. After that, didn't know what to do. I was totally clueless. So I joined my brother's factory in audio tapes, and in 6 months I was running the factory floor. Then I realized that I want to be an engineer. So it's okay. Applied a bunch of places. I said, whoever gives me admission first, that's where I'm going. And I applied in March or April, and BU had a rolling admission, and the first envelope came from BU, second was from Carnegie, but Carnegie was too late. So that's how I landed up in BU, and I did my double E here. And towards the end, just before I was graduating, Dean Padullo, who was here, he had a party for graduating students, and he gave me some recognition there. And immediately I was tracked down by a professor at BU, and Mike Rain and Masood Mansuripur. And they said, come to my office. And I went there, and they said, what are you planning to do? And I said, well, I'm going to Carnegie. I missed first time. I'm going there. I'm going to do my computer science. He says, you can open the book, read it, and you can write the codes. And we'll teach you something that'll stay with you for life. Well, I should have not listened to them. I would have started 4 Googles by now. Anyways, I did listen to them, and I decided to stay back. And I was one of the first early students studying optics under them at Optical Storage Lab. So I was a research student there. And actually, Alan Hubbard had hired me as his TA. And I decided to instead work at the Optical Storage Lab. And one thing I forgot to say, Ken Luchin used to teach electronics, and he used to just joke around in the class. So I was a popular TA for him because they would come to ask me to separate the difference between the jokes and reality.
And there is a difference? No, I don't know.
So I remember, so I made really good friends with Ken Luchin. And moving on, that optics engineering training as my graduate school was truly a launching pad for me and still holds true today. And I believe I owe it to BU. And as soon as I left BU, I got a job, and then I decided to do my own startup, and I was bold to move around and ended up in West Coast. I have done that laser and optics-based company, and Kevin talked about before the bubble. I was bold enough to start a company after the bubble, and that was in late 2000. And one of the approaches I have taken in my life is take the basic ideas you have, apply in different industries. So I moved from storage industry into one day, say, telecom's hot. And I didn't know how to look at the stock market that time, and which was crashing. And still, I took my crazy ideas to investors, and they wrote me a check for $13 million. And we were the last telecom startup in 2000. And we were the last telecom exit in 2001. So in 11 months, I sold the company and gave them 20x return.
Whoa.
Wow. So that was a great success, and says, okay, once you mess up one industry, move on to the next. And so really thinking out of the box. And I worked in the data center company and split that company at Big Bear and sold it into 2 companies very quickly. And again, moving on to the next. And this time, VCs got the hint about us that you really want to go to industry, and they called us, say, think displays. I said, we have no clue of displays other than TV at home. They said, no, just think, display market is going to be big, and it's true. It grew from 50 billion market to 200 plus today. And because of that call to us, we started thinking displays. Internet was alive, and we could get a lot of data from internet, and we came up with really crazy idea. And they wrote a check of $8 million to us and said, go for it. And we were clueless, and it was an idea that came from disk drive world, telecom world, laser printer world, combine them, and you have display. So we actually ripped apart those boxes, took out parts, and made a prototype, like you could do in Epic today that you have here. And that's how that company started called Prysm. And moving on, we are doing R&D and actually worked, laser phosphor display, and said, wow, this can be huge. 2008, still in R&D, or 2009 timeframe, I found out Ken Lucien was a dean. I called him up and said, do you remember me? And he did. And got me roped into the advisory role, and which I enjoy a lot. And really, he's the one who brought people back and got them connected. I really owe it to Ken for that bringing me back and really owning it back to where things started for me and changed my life. The company I could not have built and could not have sold and started again, gave me that confidence, all came from here. So display is nothing but same laser and optics utilization, totally in a different field. And we make the largest and the biggest displays in the world for indoor applications. No concept of resolution or size. You can have HD to 10x HD. And recently, one of the smaller size displays, 150-inch, we deployed at the lobby of 44 Cummington Street Engineering. And I'm really proud and really am indebted to Ken and engineering for giving me a chance to bring that display here, because this is the 50th anniversary and couldn't be any better for engineering to help me make it full circle, that where I started and where I'm demonstrating the product of BU that came out. So thank you, BU.
Thank you, Amit.